There was over 2,700,000 ADA left in the concept category in Fund 12. That's over 15 projects that could have been funded that didn't because they didn't know how to get their proposals approved. Let's talk about it. Hey folks, this is DJ Bodden from STORM Partners, and as part of our non-funded project support, we are going to show you how we evaluate why a project didn't get funded. As part of our talking to projects that didn't get funded in Catalyst, one of the things that we surfaced was that the main pain that people feel when they don't get funding, aside from the feeling of rejection, is not knowing why they didn't get funded. In this short video, we're going to show you how we analyze whether a project got funded from really the core mechanics. It's not going to get into details about happy or glad in a particular project, but really just look at what are the mechanical reasons why a project didn't get funded and what they can do about it. The first place I look when I'm going to figure out why a project didn't get funded is on LedoNation.com. So LedoNation is a website that pulls data from the Cardano network about projects, which can include project reviews by the community. And so I will go on LedoNation. You can go to projects in general. And then once you are in there, you can start looking at different projects that have been funded under Catalyst. So I'm just going to look up one of ours, in this case, non-funded projects. So I'll scroll down. Here are projects, assistance to non-funded projects. And so what you can see on this page is information about the projects, information about community reviews, and information about the team. It didn't quite scroll with the bar. Okay, here we go. And if you scroll down, you're going to see that on impact alignment, feasibility, and value for money, here we have 4 stars out of 5 stars. Any project that has 4 out of 5 stars is probably okay to be funded. That's on average, no one has 5 out of 5 stars in all categories, but 4 out of 5 is okay. If you have 3 out of 5 stars in a category, that is typically projects that do not get funded. So this is where you find out if there's a quality issue with your project, or at least your proposal. Generally, the complaints that we see most often are not enough details to prove that the team is capable of executing the project, not enough details in the budget to understand how the money would be spent, and not enough details on how this would be beneficial for the Cardano community or the stakeholders that you're trying to go through. You can dig into community reviews here, and what we usually do is we'll try to find the low scores, because if someone is giving you a 5 out of 5, that's really nice, but it doesn't actually help you make your project better. So we try to find the 2 scores, and here we see, for example, in their opinion, they can improve the success rate of project. There's still the possibility that some supported projects will not be successful, and that's absolutely true, right? The non-funded projects will not force success on a project. They will just make it more possible for an idea to get its fair chance of being seen. From here, where we usually go is we'll search for Cardano fund and then whatever the fund number was for the project that did not get funded. So I'll click into here for Fund 12. And then if you scroll down on this page, you'll see this link here to the results page. And this is actually where you can find out more about the voting. And scrolling down again, so halfway down the page, there's a CSV link. And I'll go into here. And this is where you can actually see where projects got funded or didn't get funded. I'm going to go, each tab is for a different category, so I'm going to go into the concept category because that one was interesting for Fund 12. And you'll see that at the top of the list, we have all these projects that got funded. And then you have projects that didn't get funded. Now, in this one, the green is funded, the red is not funded. I'm going to go over to ecosystem. You'll see that there's actually a yellow area here, and those are projects that got funded but were over budget. And so it can be useful to target an amount, at least on one of your projects in a category, that is less than the maximum amount you could request, in order to be able to capture that last little bit. And you'll see here that this project that got less votes than the ones before got funded because it was targeting a smaller amount. Now, If your project, and you can see all the projects here, if your project is further down on the list, not because the project ran out of budget, but because the numbers were too low, what we look at is these numbers here. So the first one to look at is the votes cast. If your number of votes cast is less than the average of the funded project votes, it means that you didn't do enough marketing, and therefore you need to reach more people for them to be able to potentially vote for or in abstention for your project. So that's the first place we look. Here we have 178. You usually need at least 200, so that was not enough marketing done. The second place we look is over in the abstention side. So when someone abstains from voting for your project, that means that they saw your project but chose not to vote for it. It's not a vote against, but it is an indication that they chose not to vote for it. And you'll see that every single project, including the funded projects, has around 40 to 50 million projects that vote in abstention. And so that means that you can ignore those. Anything at or below that level is normal, and you don't need to worry about it. Anything that's much higher, like here, where we see 112 million voting in abstention, means that more than enough people who could have voted your project in and approved it voted against it, and that's an indication that you need to go to Lido Nation and figure out what's going on. Over here, we have the projects that voted yes, or the number of voters who voted yes, and that's an indication of how many people approve. Now, again, if you don't have enough votes, that can mean that you need to do more marketing. If you have enough votes but you don't have enough yeses, that means that either the sizes of the wallets that you targeted in your marketing was too small, or not enough of them believed in your project. Usually what I'll do is I'll add up the votes in yes and votes in abstention. I'll divide it by the number of votes. And if that number is equal to 220,000, you are average. If it's bigger than that, you have bigger accounts voting for you. If you're smaller than that, then you have smaller accounts voting for you. Now, do the small accounts matter? Yes, they do, because Cardano is a community. So if you have a large number of small accounts voting for you, each of those people is connected to other people, and you should ask people when they agree to vote for you, can you also refer me to other people in the network? That will not only increase the number of votes, but it will increase the chances that a larger account will vote for you. So that's a good indication. If you have enough votes, but you don't have enough voting power, and you don't have a whole bunch of votes in abstention, that's usually an indication that you're not targeting the right voter segments, and you need to find other channels in which to find voters. I hope this is helpful and it helps you find out why you didn't get a project approved. Again, there are many different reasons why that might also be. Remember that the people reviewing projects are not necessarily the same people who is voting for projects, at least in big accounts. So it's almost always a good idea to get direct feedback from the people who are going to support your vote. But this at least will give you a starting point to understand how to do better next time and how to get the right amount of votes so that your project will have a shot. Thanks so much, and give us any questions you might have. We do provide project and proposal review for Fund 13 and onward. So reach out to us in Catalyst Network chat if you need support.